Over the last 6 months, I've ordered quite a few pens. Many of them came with cartridges that I don't use, so my desk is rolling with them. Is there a way to tell a standard international from a proprietary by sight? Yes, so to give you an idea, this is my bin of cartridges. Now, not all of these cartridges are ones that came out of the pens, but I personally have so many different kinds of cartridges that I actually have them bagged up by different type. So I have standard international longs, I have Lamy, I have Monograppa, which is still in the original box, I have Parker. So I just put them in little Ziploc bags. That's the easiest way I find to organize them. But granted, if it's like one cartridge, maybe you're not going to do that. I would say, generally speaking, that's not a bad way to go if you plan to save them for a long time. Really, honestly, if you never use cartridges and you have one cartridge and you know you're never going to use it, do you really need to hang on to it? Like, I don't know, that's going to be your call. But I would say if you end up just with a bunch of cartridges rolling around and they're just going to roll around forever in your drawer, if you think about Greg McEwen with his book Essentialism here, he specifically talks about like old pens and stuff like that. If they're in your drawer for more than a year, you should get rid of them. So maybe you could find if you don't want to throw them out, maybe you could talk to a avid fountain pen user and say, I got a bag of random cartridges. Do you want them? You can have them. And I'm sure someone out there would take them. That also said, if you want to actually use them and rediscover what they are, usually if they're something like Lamy or some proprietary ones, they might have the name actually on it. They may not, though. Not all of them do that. So if you want to go just by sight, if it has the name right on it, that makes it super easy. Otherwise, you have to go just by the general shape, which can be a little more complicated. But if you go to gouletpens.com, you look up ink cartridges, you can see there's a filter on the left-hand side of our site, and it has proprietary and standard international as a feature filter on the sidebar there. So the standard international ones are pretty easy because pretty much, you know, they're easy to tell from most others. They're these kind of short little guys. These are the ones that usually come with your pens. These short little guys that kind of taper and then have like a very tapered part at the end. Very, very standard looking, but other ones will be kind of all over the place. The proprietary ones, some of them look really similar to each other. So that's where it can really help to go to our site. If you look up the proprietary ones, you can actually see, we have pictures of all the cartridges there. You can see what they look like. Or if you got the pen from us, we usually try to photograph it with a cartridge if it comes with it. We don't always do that though, now that I think about it, because sometimes there's inconsistencies whether cartridges come or not. So I think maybe we've gone away from including cartridges on most of those. But anyway, you can at least get an idea to know whether the pen that you bought comes with a standard international or whether it comes with a proprietary one. And then you could go and look up that proprietary cartridge and see exactly the shape, what it looks like, see if it looks like the same thing. And worst case, you could just go and take the cartridge and try it in your different pens. Usually, they're not going to fit into the pen unless it's the actual pen that it's made for, because the proprietary ones are often different enough where you're like, yeah, this clearly just isn't fitting at all. So that's the advice I have for you. I hope it helps you out.